just wanna be great, yeah, yeah. I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great, yeah, 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 yeah.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another night of Apex Auto Glass and 410's Sprint Car Championships here on OSRN. My name is Bert Lloyd. Alongside me again this week here is the great Drake York.
Defensive line at 3 and 4. Does Merriman have anything up top? Does he have anything on the bottom? Checker flag is out. Mason Hannigan, your winner at the dirt track in Charlotte.
Bergeron takes the defensive line. He'll pick up win number 5 of the year. Alex Bergeron wins that weed sport. First win of the season off a turn number 4. Hayden Carroll wins here at Cedar Lake. Irish will win the 4th season of the Apex Auto Glass and 410 Sprint Car Championship presented by B&B Race Simulators. He wins the championship once again here tonight. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Nerd Broadcast here on OSRN and the Apex Autoglass and Team 410 Sprint Car Championship. My name is Bert Wojcik. Alongside me, as always, is Drake York and, of course, our producer, Joe White. Drake, we are in not Posse Country tonight, even though some people want to call it Posse Country. It is not, because Western PA is not Pennsylvania Posse Country, but we are at one of the best tracks in Pennsylvania, the Lernerville Speedway out here in Sarver, Pennsylvania, for another night of Apex Autoglass and Team 410 Sprint Car Championship. We were talking on the server, or on the, before we came on air here. This is absolutely one of the best tracks on the server. No questions about it, Drake. We saw a great race here in Season 4, and we're shaping up for another great race here in Season 5.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that this is not in Posse Country, because before we came on the air, I definitely knew why it wasn't Posse Country, and I just want everybody to know that I knew that before the broadcast. But yes, anyway, we were talking earlier, and this is probably the best track on the server, if you think about it. I mean, sure, the night could start out just ripping around the lip here at Lernerville, which is a zone type of art form within itself, but last night, especially with the Next Level Racing 360s, we saw a lot of guys working down low through the middle, so you could put your car somewhere, you could probably run it here at Lernerville. That's just how wide and inviting each and every inch of this racetrack is.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about, too, before we came on air here, about how, you know, this is going to be a 3-lane racetrack tonight. Lernerville does have that characteristic in it that it will go 3 lanes around here. That, yes, as you said, it will start on top, but also, as you saw last night in the Next Level series, is that you can run the bottom, but in 3 and 4, it doesn't keep up with it. And that's where you get some really nice runs with it on the bottom, or I should say on the top side of 1 and 2, or 3 and 4, I should say. You get some really nice runs, and it makes it a lot of fun, especially if you feel like you can want to catch up to somebody. You got to rip that top side down in order to make some runs on 3 and 4. But 1 and 2, it is very, very even over there. So there's a lot of diversity here. And it's going to be a lot of thinking here tonight, especially when this place looks off.
Exactly. And, you know, you mentioned how wide and out of the bone this racetrack is. I mean, it's really all you can really dream for with the winning 410 sprint car and the Apex series. Last time we were here, Tyler Schell barely edged out Alex Bergeron. I shouldn't say barely, but Alex Bergeron spun off the edge of turn 2 on the white flag lap and pretty much handed the race to Tyler Schell, but he's undefeated here at Lernerville, so trying to keep that streak alive tonight as track opens for practice for the Apex Autoglass and Tinting Wing 410 sprint cars.
Absolutely. So let's go back to last week at the Kokomo Speedway, where we saw Kenny Miller pick up a win in kind of a marathon of a race last week at Kokomo. It took a while to get there, but Kenny really helped his cause out here as we take a look at your current points for the Apex Autoglass and Team 410 Sprint Car Championship with a new points leader since Evan C. was not in attendance last week. He fell to third. That allowed a new points leader, Aiden Berline, to come up. He now has over a 40-point lead on Kenny Miller. That is Evan C., Tyler Schell, and Mason Hannigan round out your top 5. So tonight should be a very interesting night. See what Berline can do. Berline has no wins so far this year on the Apex Autoglass Team 410 Sprint Car Championship. But so far, Kenny Miller picked up a win this year, and it looks like Evan C. is back here tonight at Lernerville.
Yeah, and Berline, you know, like you mentioned, Bert doesn't have a win this year, but consistency always, always, always pays off in the end, especially when you're running for a year-long championship like this series. As you take a look at Mason Hannigan down the backstretch in the night, 5th in points. But Berline, as you said perfectly there, Bert, last week was such a marathon, and C not being there and a few other guys faltering throughout that race really allowed him to take the points lead, and not a bad points lead coming into Lernerville tonight. Always nice to have a little cushion heading into the next event.
Absolutely, and think about this too. Kenny Miller, he was your winner last week over Kenny Hoffman and Tanner Pettiott, and Aiden Berline, he finished in that 4th spot. Then it's JP Schneider, he finished in that 5th spot, but Berline finished 4th and still was enough to take to pull away from Kenny Miller in a good bit there, or by a good bit, I should say, here coming into the night at Lernerville. But again, this could all be changed up here in a matter of a split second, depending on how tonight goes and who How is the berm going to come out and grab you? As qualifying is underway here tonight, a couple cars coming on the speedway here. But first, you guys think our great sponsors here with the Apex Auto Glass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championship. Of course, Apex Auto Glass and Tin. Then also we have Elite Performance Industries. Go check them out for all your iRacing setup needs. I'm a customer myself. I absolutely love EPI. Go check them out. Jake Swanson Shock Technologies. They're a great sponsor as well. We have fanboy number 2 in our building here tonight with Drake York. Fanboy number 1 would be his wife. I guess would be fangirl number 1. So we discussed that a little bit earlier. But also got to thank Redline Race Designs as well. They're going to be doing some wing panels or wing boards, or wingatures, I should say, the name of it are, for our top 3 in both the Next Level series and the 410 series. So thanks to all of our great sponsors. As qualifying is underway, Logan Rumsey's top of the board right now, Drake, 12.24.
Right behind him, Timothy Smith and Dustin Sargent, Aiden Forrester. Now David Allen, who had a good run last night in the 3rd spot. It bumped Sargent down to 4th. Forrester back down to 5th. Brian Hughes now up to 3rd. Obviously not single card qualifying, so everybody out there at the same time, even though, if I'm not mistaken, they can't see each other, so it's an open track for everybody.
Correct. You have an open track. Basically what it is like everyone's kind of split up into their own little session then once we get into qualifying. So you don't see the same, or you don't see the track with everyone else, or you're not on the track with everyone else as well. So basically you have a free track to yourself, and even get a little practice afterwards there. Maybe try and dial in that their setup just a little bit, get a couple extra laps, but you have the fuel pretty low in the setup here to go as fast as you can here. But right now we'll take a look at your top 10, which are Logan Rumsey, Tim Smith, Brian Hughes, David Allen, Dustin Sargent, Dylan Ayler, Tanner Petty just went to the 7th spot, Evan C., Tyler Showblock, and Aiden Forcer round out your top 10. So a 1/10 of a second really separates the entire field here, as qualifying is just about ready to wrap up with our... It looks like we're going to have about 38 cars here tonight, Drake. So a very, very strong field here of Apex Auto Glass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championship, as I believe John Helms is going to be the last car on the speedway, spending a lap. And that should just about do it for qualifying with about 10 seconds left to go on the clock. And that will wrap it up here for our 38 cars tonight. 39 cars, I should say, if Ryan Frugier is involved with this, but I don't think he will be. As qualifying comes to the end, it's going to be Logan Rumsey at a 12.24, then Tim Smith at a 12.26. That will be your top 2 qualifiers. Logan Rumsey sets another quick time, and of course that will give him pole and heat race number 1, which will be going to the post looking like this. As you see the Lernerville, or the iRacing Silverado pace truck right there. Logan Rumsey on the front row alongside Dustin Sargent there, then Ty Showblack alongside John Helms, Garrett Hulsey, and then Travis Oldfield will be in row number 3. Joe Howe and Randy Shreves in row number 4, then Austin Griffey and Taylor Wineland round out row number 5. So going into the night, 10 laps the distance in our heat races. And what are we taking tonight, Drake? I just saw you just 2.
Go from the heats tonight.
Top 2 in tonight's heat, and then of course we go into the consies, which are not like your for newer people watching tonight's broadcast, which are not like your B mains where you have to go do alphabet soup, or only 2 transfer next consi or next main and the next main. Consies you're going to take probably about with the 40 cars, I'd probably say maybe 4 to 5 probably the consies tonight. We'll take out of that to go into the night's feature event. So the field make their way around the Lernerville Speedway. And Drake, I think we said in the pre-race show here the best we could is that it's probably going to be top dominant here. So I would expect to see Logan Rumsey pull a big slider with his leader advantage here going into turn number 1.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few things Rumsey could do on the start also to guarantee he has that top line into 1 and 2 and maybe not have to throw the slider. If he runs up Sargent in 3 and 4 and then cuts down the racetrack down the front stretch, could really help build up some momentum and help him clear Sargent down to 1 and 2. Therefore, he doesn't have to throw a slider. But Logan Rumsey always very, very good wherever he shows up at, and knows what to do here on the front row, but we always go back to how they line up the field straight up off of qualifying in the heat races. And qualifying is important with this series, to say the least. As Pace Truck dives off the speedway, we're getting ready to go for heat race number 1.
We are underway. Heat race number 1. There he goes, Logan Rumsey. He's going to get that early advantage over Dustin Sargent to go into turns 1 and 2. It looks like Tyler Schoblock, he'll go up into that second spot. Take that away from Sargent to go nose to tail down the back straightaway into turns 1 and 2. Rumsey leads slot number 1.
Good start for Rumsey. Almost did exactly what I thought he'd do. And man, he is shot out of a cannon. He is driving away about 6 or 7 car lengths between him and second running Ty Schoblock. Dustin Sargent back in that 3rd spot. And right now, Bert, we talked about this track be hard to pass on at the start of the evening, and especially here in this first heat race, it's going to be exhibited quite well. And Dustin Sargent, they only have one chance to pull the trigger, so he's got to be really calculate on how he makes this move. He's going to slide up and actually get sideways and loses some momentum down the back straightaway.
A lot of momentum there, Drake, as Justin Sargent's he was right there on the back of Ty Schoblock for the entire time there. And remember, we're only taking 2 out of the heat race, but it looks like Sargent lost a lot of momentum there, and it's going to be really tough, I think, for him to get back on Schoblock. We'll take a look at Garrett Holsey right now. He's running in that 4th spot behind Dustin Sargent, and then John Helms rounds out your top 5. But again, top 2 go in. We're almost 3 wide there with Joe Howe. Looks like, I believe, Tanner or Austin Griffey and Randy Shreves are involved in that 3 wide there. But yeah, they're kind of bunched up there as your top 2 of Rumsey and Schoblock are pulling away from the field.
Yeah, and that's exactly what those guys wanted to see, trying to make their lives easy on themselves. Looks like Schoblock's closing in just a little bit, not by much, but he is closed in just a bit on your race leader Logan Rumsey as they turn now for 2 laps to go here in heat race number 1.
Fantastic heat race so far to start up the night, or what we expected here tonight, and it should make for some great racing as this track gets burned off and gets a little bit wider here. White flag is out right now for Logan Rumsey. He's dominated this entire heat race here. Him and Ty Schoblock have been in the transfer spot since the word go as they come down the back straightaway for the final times. In the 3 and 4, checker flag is out. Logan Rumsey will win heat race number 1 over Ty Schoblock. They will go into the night's feature event. Dustin Sargent, Garrett Holsey, Joe Howe, Austin Griffey, John Helms, Randy Shreves, and Taylor Wineland. Travis Oldfield as well will all have to go in the night's consolation event. So we will see if we are going to do an interview tonight. Not quite sure yet if we are. If we will, we'll send Drake York down there. But heat race number 2, it's going to be rolling to the post, and it'll look like this here at Lernerville Speedway. Tim Smith and Dalen Ayler will make up row number 1. That's a nice little front row right there. Aizen Forcer and Garrett Pepiat make up row number 2. Jason Randolph and Chase Hardy make up row number 3. Then Joey Lindgren and Justin Osborne make up row number 4. Ernie Williams and Remington Wade make up your 5th and final row. Again, top 2 make their way into the night's feature event as we will get ready to roll down there. And yes, we have him ready. Drake York, he's entering heat race number 1 winner, Logan Rumsey.
Absolutely, Bert Logan Rumsey, your winner of heat race number 1. And Logan, with the track being the way it is and the start being so important, what did you do to ensure you had the lead coming off of turn number 2 on lap 1?
Hey, just make sure you don't spin the tires and hit the jump out of 4 on the bottom. But felt pretty good in the heat race. Just gotta make sure I can run the top when it gets slick in the feature.
Logan Rumsey, your winner of heat race number 1. Bert, as we get ready to go now for heat race number 2.
We're getting ready for heat race number 2 here, and Tim Smith, Dylan Ayler on the front row here. Tim's been having a solid year so far to start off the year. Dylan Ayler has as well. Actually, it's kind of a rebound race for Dylan, I feel like, because it seems like Dylan can get caught up in some stuff, but he's really done a nice job so far of really keeping it together, as he is currently right now, as I look at the points. Dylan Ayler's back 17th in points right now, and Tim Smith is actually back in 21st, so this will be a big night for these guys. They can get on the front row here, or make it into the night's feature event, as the iRacing Silverado Pace Truck will pull in, and we're going to get ready to go heat race number 2.
Absolutely, Smith and Ayler bring us down to the green flag, and it's out. We're underway in heat race number 2.
Ayler going to fall back in the third spot there. Forrester will pull into that second spot, almost kind of the identical. You saw Smith or Rumsey get away in heat race number 1. Smith is getting away in heat race number 2 as they go side by side here. Garrett Pepiat, he's going to try and make a run on Aiden Forrester here, or excuse me, on Dylan Ayler. He's going to fall back to 4th spot. Pepiat goes in that 3rd spot.
Yeah, and just judging off the last 2 starts of these heat races, the outside of the front row, not the place to be. You saw Ayler start on the outside of the front row, and he is hanging on right now for that 3rd spot. To fend off Pepiat if they're not careful. Osborne going to come into the fray here, as Osborne's going to rail it off the top down the front stretch. Might have hit the hump down there in turns 1 and 2, but on the absolute edge of the racetrack, Osborne trying to snag away that 4th spot.
What did we talk about earlier, Drake? The high side, you got to hustle it around here. There's contact. I believe that was, yes, that was Dylan Ayler. He was involved in that, so Ayler's going to be out, going to have to go into a consi here tonight. You have to come from deep in that to make it in the night's feature events. Take a look at the front. Tim Smith is up there pulling away from Aiden Forster. Then it's Garrett Pepiat, and that got kind of close there a little bit, Drake, before we saw Ayler turn into the infield wall there. Forster and Pepiat, they were right close to each other there, but it looks like Forster was able to pull away. But Pepiat, he's gaining some momentum here, as we're going to have 3 laps to go at the line.
Timothy Smith, good run last night, actually picked up the win with the 360s, and now leading this heat race is Forster having to hold off Pepiat, as you said, Bert, and Osborne. The way he's running the top, he may not be out of this. They turn now for the white flag. Next time by, excuse me. So it's still 2 laps to go, but front, it's still Smith. He is running away, but Pepiat may have something for him.
Pepiat, oh, and when you look back, there's Justin Osborne. We have a 3-car battle for the final transfer spot. Pepiat's going to pull the slide job on Forrester. Forrester got to tap the brakes. Smith is going to win it, but the battle is for the second and final transfer spot. Forrester on the high, or Pepiat on the high side. He's going to get it. Going to high side hustle around. Aiden Forster to get that second transfer spot in tonight's feature event. What a heat race. Oh, Drake, if that is what we're seeing in heat race number 2, just for the final transfer spot, what an incredible race we are in store for here tonight, as Garrett Pepiat will get around Aiden Forster to make it into tonight's feature event. As we go into heat race number 3 here with Brian Hughes on the front row, then it's Trevor Pettit. Then Tyler Schell, your defending race winner here at the Lernerville Speedway back in Season 3. Ethan Toto makes up spot number 4. Hayden Harvey, and your current points leader with the Apex Auto Glass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championship. Aiden Berline in the 6th position. Landon Cardoza, Trey Garst, and Rylan Gray make up your 9 cars in heat race number 3, as we're going to send on down to Drake York, as he will have Tim Smith coming off a win last night with the Next Level 360s. He wins heat race number 2 here at Lernerville.
Timothy Smith, your winner of heat race number 2, and your winner last night with the 360s. So is it safe to say you got this place figured out?
Oh, for sure. We have a really good combination here right now. We got the M9 set rolling right now. Shout out to 129 and M9 for helping me out.
And that's Timothy Smith, your winner of heat race number 2. And like you heard him say, Bert, he thinks he's got this place figured out now.
I tell you what, Drake, I think he might, because it's been a very, very good run for him, and that'd be really neat to see him get a win here tonight. You know, kind of a guy we don't see too often get the wins on the Apex Auto Glass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championship, but did have a very good run last night with the Next Level 360s. But all eyes are on heat race number 3 right now, as we take a look at Brian Hughes and Tanner Pettit. But Tyler Schell, he is undefeated here at the Lernerville Speedway in the 4 races they have run here. He has not lost them, and he almost lost the last one with Alex Bergeron going over the berm. If Bergeron does go over the berm, I don't know if Schell gets him, but we'll see if he has that kind of luck here tonight, as green flag is out, as Aiden Berline, he's going to come up there and take away, or try and take away, get an early advantage here. As you look at Tanner Petty, he's going to slide all the way up, down the back straightaway again. We look over here as Hayden Harvey's going to go up into the 3rd spot, but Schell takes 2nd away. 3 wide for 2nd off at 4.
And the outside of the front row is not the place you want to start here at Lernerville when it comes to these heat races, though. Pettit trying to rebound, contact with Harvey for that 3rd spot.
Look off the turn number 4 there. Almost contact again between Tanner Pettit and Hayden Harvey. As now they've got a 4-car battle for the lead shaping up here. Top 4 have broken away from the field, so two guys are going to go in. 2 guys are going to be on the outside looking at Tyler Shell. Big slide job on Brian Hughes. Take the lead. Hughes will pull the slider again on Shell. He's going to try and turn it back on down the back straightaway. Brian Hughes and Tyler Shell put it on Shell here in heat race number 3.
Something must have happened with Harvey and Pettit because they have dropped dramatically down in the running order, but the stays here up at the front. Trey Garst now the first driver on the outside looking in, and Aiden Burline all the way back to 4th. He has got to hustle if he wants a shot to make it into the feature event out of the heat race.
Yeah, he's going to take the 3rd spot away from Trey Garst, but Garst's going to turn it back on him right now. I wonder if they fell off the berm there because they have fell all the way back, and it looks like Tanner Pettit is out of this race. Hayden Harvey in the 7th spot, so I wonder if they fell off the berm as they go back and looking at this battle for the 3rd spot right now between Aiden Burline and Trey Garst. Remember, Burline is your current Apex Autoglass named 410 Sprint Car Championship points leader right now, but it's not helping his cause out with Tyler Shell out front right now, and he's going to be in that feature event as Burline is on the outside looking in, but the consies, you're going to take a good chunk of cars out of those, Drake, so Burline, he can make some moves up in the feature. Oh boy, that was close between him and Garst.
Yeah, him and Garst about wadded it up as I believe that's Rylan Gray slipping up to the inside. He gets a shot in the shorts. He's slamming off the edge of the racetrack, and he spins to a stop off of turn 3. Tough break for the youngster out of Greenfield, Indiana.
Oh, I wonder if officials are going to look at that. That looked a little dicey there. As Tyler Shell's going to win heat race number 3 here. Wild heat race. Brian Hughes in the 2nd spot. Aiden Burline finishes 3rd, Trey Garst, Landon Cardoza, Hayden Harvey, Rylan Gray, Tanner Pettit, Ethan Toder are your cars going to have to go in the night's consolation event. So Tyler Shell, the season from hell at what it's been for Tyler so far this year. Hopefully they get it figured out here tonight. We'll get a word with Tyler Shell hopefully in just a minute, but we got heat race number 4 going up here. Into the lineup, it looks like this. David Allen, Evan C. on the front row. Mason Hannigan and Gunnar Harris in row number 2. Team Bolsong and J.P. Schneider in row number 3. Then it's Liam Garrison and Coulter West in row number 4. And it looks like Randy Fritsch will make up the final row in row number 5. So Tyler Shell, he finally gets the monkey off his back. Drake a couple weeks ago got the first win of his season back at the Eldora Speedway. See if he can't do it again here at Lernerville as Tyler Shell is ready to go here down here with Drake York.
Tyler Shell, your winner of heat race number 3, and Tyler, you got the win at Eldora a few races ago, and ever since then you've been back to pretty much your old self at the front of the field and competitive each and every night. So since before or after Eldora, what's really changed with you and your program that's allowed you to be competitive once again?
Biggest thing is just become, I guess, more prepared. I've had speed the whole season. I just feel like I've had just bad luck and stuff. I mean, like whenever I wrecked, I've been set like inside the top 5, so it's been kind of trying, but we're still kicking, and we got 6 or 7 more races left to try to close the gap on the points.
It's Tyler Shell, winner of heat race number 3. Remember, everybody, undefeated here at Lernerville Speedway with the Apex Series. Comes into the night 4th in points in the 85 machine. But Bert, heat race number 4 is on the racetrack, and you're looking at him right now in his return to the series tonight. Evan C., who dominated the first part of the season, then missed last week at Kokomo, dropped down all the way to 3rd in the points heading into tonight's action.
Yeah, that's not really too bad of a hurt, I feel, for him, but the worst part about it, Drake, about this whole thing is right now he is on that outside lane of the start. That has not been the place to be all night long. Now, that's changed a little bit there. They were a little bit closer in that last heat race, as it looks like C will try and go down low, and yeah, he's going to hold up better than what most guys have so far. But right now, David Allen is going to take that lead. Mason Hannigan gets around Evan C for that 3rd spot, but C's right there. Going to try and get the 2-for-1 special off of 4. Not going to be able to do it. Mason Hannigan holds on to 2nd.
Hannigan sets up for the inside as Gunnar Harris upside down over the edge of the racetrack. We'll see him in a Conti. Meanwhile, 3 wide for the lead at 3. Evan C. down low. Can he hold it? Yes, he does. Evan C. He gets the lead right there at the stripe. Hannigan follows him down to the low side through 1 and 2. Allen's going to build up some momentum and at least challenge Hannigan for that second spot in the 3 and 4. He crosses him under side by side for the second and final transfer spot down to 1.
Evan C, the only one to make the outside work, or starting from starting on the outside front row here tonight, I should say, and making it work. He's currently leading this heat race, but a fantastic battle for that second and final transfer spot between Mason Hannigan and David Allen. You go on board the top of the wicker bill with Mason Hannigan down the back straightaway. You look back at David Allen on top of his wicker bill, see what kind of line they run. They run that middle almost to the top there, Drake, and that's a little bit close for David Allen, but that's where you got to find the speed. You got to try and work it around here as Allen will go down low with 5 laps to go in his heat race. Try to pull the slider on Evan C, not be able to do it. Not enough momentum down there yet, Drake, and I don't think the bottom is as good as the top in 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 there is just nothing down there. Is way too flat.
Evan C almost has a second advantage as he rockets up the back straightaway in the 33 machine. I'm surprised, Bert, you mentioned the bottom doesn't seem to have a lot of momentum or grip down on there right now, but boy, oh boy, Evan C is just driving away from these guys. Now extends it out to over a second, and you see Hannigan and Allen really hustling up on the high side and just can't really make up any ground on him. So very surprising to see that 33 working so good down on the bottom as Hannigan is solidly established himself in that second and final transfer spot.
Yeah, I wonder if Evan's setup really kind of worked its way into this with the Steam and Jules speed shops there. Trying to work that bottom line. They know that's probably going to be the place to be in 1 and 2 later on here tonight. As he goes in bottom in 3 and 4 again, Evan C will win heat race number 4 alongside Mason Hannigan. They will go in the nice feature event. David Allen, JP Schneider, and Coulter West, Liam Garrison, Stephen Volsong, and Randy Fritsch make up the rest of the field, along with Gunnar Harris. Will all have to go in the consolation event. So we're going to go into our first consolation here tonight, as we will get a word with Evan C in just a second here. So we're going to have 3 consolations. We'll find out how many we're taking out of each consi in just a second here, as it looks like it's going to be Justin Sargent and David Allen on that front row. Then it's going to be Aiden Berline, Jason Randolph, Austin Griffey, and Liam Garrison make up row number 3. Trey Gars, there we are, yes. Taylor Wineland, Trey Williams. There we go, that's right, Trey Williams. Taylor Wineland and Gunnar Harris will make up the rest of the... Ernie Williams, I should know that name by now. Ernie Williams will make up 8 spot. And then it will be Taylor Wineland and Gunnar Harris, as it sounds like we have Evan C down there with Drake York. He was not there, or no, we do not have Evan just yet. So we'll see if we can't get a hold of Evan in just a moment here. But, that's the way Evan needed to do it here, Drake. The outside was not the place to be for any of these on the outside front row, I should say. Not the place to be in any of the heat races until heat race number 4. So, maybe we're starting to see a change here. But we're only taking 4 out of this consolations here tonight. So you don't have much room to make an error here tonight. So if you're Aiden Berline, you got to go here pretty quick, I feel like. Now, he's starting in the 3rd spot, and that inside line has been better than the outside on tonight's initial starts.
Absolutely, and that last one, I think Evan C, let's be real here, sandbagged it a little heading down into turn number 1, but that's what you have to do. And sure, he wasn't in the 2nd spot when he came off of turn number 2, but eventually found the bottom and drove away to the win. But looking at this one, man, a stacked main with the Apex series. Really goes to show you how good some of these guys in the field are. And Ernie Williams last night in the Next Level 360 race had to run a consi to make it into the feature, and unfortunately he finds himself in the same boat tonight. All in a pretty big crash, had a lot of damage in his heat race, so let's see if he can scratch and claw his way into a feature starting spot. Remember, top 4 go to the feature.
We will see that here as Justin Sargent, David Allen will bring him down into the green flag. We have 12 laps to go. Again, 4 going into the night's feature event. David Allen was your pole sitter in that last heat race there. He's starting on the outside front row and keeps up with Austin Griffey pretty well here. And now there we go. Austin Griffey's going to go around here, and David Allen will take the lead away from Jason Randolph, Rylan Gray, and Taylor Wineland, as Aiden Berline, he's all the way down to 6.
Tough start here for Aiden Berline. He has got to get going. Berline's off in the pit area. Oh, he's off on the edge of the racetrack, actually. Disaster for your points leader.
So he's going to suffer a big time points defeat here tonight, as he's only going to get lapped as David Allen's closed up on him. Right now, you look at Taylor Wineland running that second spot, then it's Rylan Gray and Ernie Williams in that fourth and final transfer spot. As you said, he had a great run last night in the 360, next level 360s. As you look at Taylor Wineland, going to pull a slide job on Rylan Gray. Ernie Williams, he's trying to look underneath Rylan Gray, try and add some cushioning to him here, as we have 8 laps to go here, or 7 to go at the line. There we go. And if you take a look at Ernie Williams, he's trying to go underneath of Rylan Gray. Not much there yet, Drake. Gray has nice little pace right there on Ernie Williams. Can't really close in on him.
Yeah, Rylan Gray, if you remember, back in his heat race, he was beating and banging down the back straightaway and actually ended up spinning off the edge of the racetrack, coming to the white flag. So he's looking for redemption to make it into tonight's feature event. Very young driver, talented young driver, I should say, in the real world. Midget stuff. Know he's going to go run the Extreme Series this year. Came out to DeCoin, ran some USAC races with us. Would expect him to maybe make a few more runs here as the year gets on with the USAC National Midgets as well as the Extreme Series full time. But right now, he's trying to make it into the show here at Lernerville with the Apex Series and looks pretty comfortable out there right now. Now he's going to go to the inside of Wineland for that second spot, and he'll get it off at turn number 4. Give it to the Greenfield driver.
Yeah, Taylor Wineland's going to pull away, or excuse me, Rylan Gray's going to pull away from Taylor Wineland. Wineland now almost 3 wide here for that second spot as Rylan Gray has it. Here comes Taylor Wineland looking on the bottom. Ernie Williams just ripping that top side down. We have 2 laps to go at the line here, and David Allen is pulling away from the field, so he's going to have a nice starting spot here in the feature event. Again, top 4 from each Conti night going to go in as Ernie Williams has gotten around Taylor Wineland for that third spot. He's looking underneath Rylan Gray. Oh, nearly a little bit of contact there for a second. And we'll see off of turn number 2. It's a drag race there, Drake. David Allen's winning. It looks like Rylan Gray's going to hold on to that second spot.
Ernie Williams will get third, and Taylor Wineland, the last car out of the D main, going into tonight's feature event here at Lernerville.
So a fantastic consolation number 1 here for the Apex All-Glass and Team 410 Sprint Car Championship. David Allen, Rylan Gray, Ernie Williams, and Taylor Wineland will make tonight's feature event. Jason Randolph, Austin Griffey, Liam Garrison, Aiden Berline, Dustin Sargent, and Connor Harris will not make it in. So your points leader is out for the rest of the night. It's wide open once again as you take a look at consolation number 2. Aiden Forrester and Garrett Hulsey will make up row number 1. That'll be JP Schneider and Landon Cardoza. Chase Hardy, John Helms, Steve Volsong, and Tanner Pettiott, Dylan Ayler, who was on the front row of that heat racing number 2, I believe it was. He's starting in the 9th spot, and Travis Oldfield will make up your 10th and final starter. Again, top 4 from the consolation here tonight go into the night's feature event. As you look at your front row there, I do not see Kenny Miller on this field here tonight, Drake, so Evan C. might be granted a gift here if he can have a good run here tonight with the amount of points that can be clipped here tonight. But I think we're going to see C and Shell. There's a 20-point difference in the points right now between Evan C. and Tyler Shell in 3rd and 4th. Aiden Berline's not in the feature night. Kenny Miller's not here tonight. So one of those 2 guys are going to probably walk out of here with the points lead unless Berline has enough of a gap, which he might. Let me take a look at the points here. 60 points for a win here tonight. And, we're going to see a new points leader here tonight, Drake, as Evan C. and Tyler Shell, unless they have some kind of disaster happen in the feature event. But big news again, Aiden Berline will not make the feature.
Yeah, you basically stole the words out of my mouth. And I always joke iRacing goes so fast you have time to hardly process it. And I was just thinking before the consies, I was like, hey, I didn't see Kenny Miller out there. So, yeah, exactly. There, Bird, and as you said, it really depends on how the feature finishes, but I don't think Berline may have a big enough points advantage to hang on to the lead tonight, but we'll have to wait and see as there's contact between Hulsey and one other car, and that's Schneider going upside down.
Wow, big flip for JP Schneider. He's going to be out of this race alongside of Volsong there. They're going to be both out of this feature or out of this event. or Halsey, I should say. So tough break for those two there. But right now it is Aiden Forrester going to be leading this over Chase Hardy, and then Landon Cardoza in that fourth and final transfer spot will be John Helms. Dylan Ayler +4 already in the opening 2 laps of this, Drake. So Ayler again started on the front row of his heat race there, fell back, actually fell off the track, and has to come through a consolation event here. He's one spot out right now, battling with John Helms, trying to make his way into the night's feature event.
Ayler's still got a bit of a ways to go before he gets to John Helms, but guys in front of him get racing pretty good. He may have a shot. As there you see Helms, he slipped behind the duo right in front of him of Forrester and Cardoza, so this could open the door for Ayler, but like I said, he's still got to hustle to get up there.
Yeah, he does. And take a look at Dylan Ayler. Or excuse me, not Dylan Ayler. Look at Landon Cardoza, but right there is Aiden Forrester. He fell back into the third spot right now as him and John Helms are closing in on each other there. We take a look back at Ayler, not really be able to close up on Helms, about a second to him right now as we look at the battle here for that 4th spot between Dylan Ayler and John Helms Aiden Forrester and John Helms, as a nice little track starting to widen out here, Drake. But we're going to have the reset come up here. They're going to burn the track off for a few minutes. As take a look at Chase Hardy, he takes the lead away from Landon Cardoza as Hardy right now with 4 laps to go, I should say, here is in a very nice catbird seat right now.
Yeah, and now this is really a big transition we're seeing in the racetrack. Go down to the bottom. The way that's Garrett Halsey up there, the lap car, not a factor in this one, although he is keeping pace with your leaders, but a big transition as this track's going down to the bottom side of the speedway, and Evan C. kind of opened the door for everybody down there in his heat race with that dominating drive, and Hardy doing the same here. Is looking at the top 4, they're all running around the bottom right now. And again, that track rework going to come into play. So it's going to be interesting to see here as we get into the B main next if the track stays like this. But white flag is out, 1 lap to go.
It's Hardy going out there. Big lead in this consolation number 2. He's going to come down the back straightaway. He's going to win consolation number 2 here. Landon Cardoza will get that 2nd spot. John Helms and Aiden Forrester will take your 4th and final transfer. Dylan Ayler, Steven Volsong, Garrett Halsey, Tanner Pettit, and JP Schneider will all be out of tonight's field. So that is 2 consolations down. 1 more consolation to go here tonight, and we're going to take the final 4 cars into the night's feature event, and they're going to go to the post looking like this. Trey Garce and Justin Osborne on the front row, then Joe Howe, Coulter West, and Hayden Harvey. Remington Wade, Randy Shreves, Randy Fritsch, Ethan Toder, and Joey Lingron will make up your 10 cars in the night's consolation number 3. Final 4 cars to make it in the night's featured field, Drake, here. And, we start to see, the track is very cleaned up on the bottom. Would not be surprised to start taking some rubber, but I think that's going to be where to be in this 3rd and final consolation.
Yeah, and I'd have to agree with you there, Bert, but then again, could see somebody just slow roll it through the middle, Donnie Schatz style. So, again, it's dirt track racing, and any possibility is up in the air as the field makes their way out on the speedway. Once again, 12 laps of distance, top 4 going into the feature tonight. This is the last chance to make it into tonight's 40-lap main event with the Apex Auto Glass and Tinting Winged 410 Sprint Car Championship here on iRacing.
So, as we take a look again, once again, thanks everybody for joining us here on OSRN. Really enjoying this coverage here tonight. Hopefully you are. Give OSRN a like or a thumbs up if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Really appreciate all the support here. As we take a look again, Trey Garce, Justin Osborne on the front row. They're going to get the green flag next time around here. Final consolation event of the night at Lernerville Speedway. Then we'll go into a little bit of a track rework, and then it'll be feature time here at Lernerville. 35 laps the distance here tonight, and it should be a fantastic race here, as it's been pretty much this entire season so far here at Lernerville, Drake. Every time we've been here to Lernerville the last couple of years, and it should be no different here tonight. Slow pace for Garce and Osborne. Garce hits the go pedal. We're green off of turn number 4.
First with a fantastic jump leads the field. Osborne trying to hang on a second. Harvey putting in a good fight down on the bottom. They go side by side into 3 and 4. Garst a little bit of a slip up on the cushion, but he'll lead lap number 1. Here comes Coulter West, rides the wall into the corner. Osborne slides up in front of him. It's a 3-horse race for the second spot down the backstretch.
Oh, Coulter West nearly went over the berm there as it's going to slide up there. There's Justin Osborne. He's falling back now. He's going to be in that 4th and final transfer spot as here comes Ethan Toder. He's going to try and get around Osborne. He will do so as last time they went by a scoring loop here. Toder into the 4th spot, but he wants more. Oh, look at the contact. Throws a little bit of muscle onto, I believe that's Hayden Harvey. Close a little bit of muscle onto him, and Harvey's well out of this field. Ethan Toder in the 3rd spot.
Now Harvey trying to get his bearings to get there as he runs into the side of Remington way down the backstretch, and he falls down the running order. Oh, he's still making contact. Remington Wade around. Harvey still trying to hang on to that race car. There's Remington Wade stopped on the front stretch, and he'll hop out of this one. So his night is done with 7 laps to go. Trey Garst, on the other hand, has had a very calm race at the front of the field, and as you predicted, Bert, the run around the bottom side of the racetrack, but boy, we were seeing people everywhere during the first few laps of this one.
Absolutely. You can see where the line is there, Drake. Look at it. We'll take a look at Justin Osborne here. All the way down at the bottom. You can see that kind of strip there from the lighting there. That's where everyone wants to hit. That's where the moisture is, and that seems to be the most grip right now. Maybe just a little bit up there off the bottom, probably about a half a car up is where everyone seems to be running right now, but it looks like Toder is closing in on Garst for your lead right now, but they are solidly into the night's feature event. Getting top 4 right now. Making it as Hayden Harvey has made it back up into the 4th spot. He's right on top with Ethan Toder.
Ethan Toder hasn't really been a factor tonight, but now running solidly in a transfer spot in the B main. Both drivers trying to hit their lines as Toder's may have a nose in. He thinks better of it. Garst really slams the door, but that's going to cost him as he slides up the racetrack. New leader, Ethan Toder.
Yeah, Garth got way too much down into the grass there in turns 1 and 2. And he's really got to slow back up there now with Ethan Toder taking the lead in this final consolation event. But now Joe Howe, he's closing in for that 4th spot. He will get around right now. That's a lap car, I believe. Yeah, he gets around the lap car right now as he's closing on Hayden Harvey. As Joe Howe, he's right there for this final transfer spot, Drake. White flag is out.
Now 1 lap to go. Osborne down on the bottom trying to hold off. Oh, here comes Howe on the top side. It's going to be a drag race for the final transfer spot. Slide job. No, crossover by Howe. He's going to get the final transfer.
Wow, I thought Justin Osborne was taking them both out. He does not. Joe Howe makes it into the night feature event. Top 4 in that one. Wow, what a fantastic race as Ethan Toder makes it in over Trey Garst. Then it will be... there we are. Joe Howe makes it in the 4th and final transfer spot. So a fantastic battle of heat racing here. And of course, we're going to go on, let the feature runners burn the track off. And we will be right back with tonight's feature event here on OSRN for the Apex Autoglass and Team 410 Sprint Car Championship. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another night of Apex Autoglass and the 410 Sprint Car Championships here on OSRN. My name is Bert Logic. Alongside me again this week here is the great Drake York. We are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with the Apex Autoglass and Team 410 Sprint Car Championship right here on OSRN. Burt Wojcik, Drake York, and our producer Joe White here with you tonight for our 40-lap main event here at the Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania. And it'll look like this. Starting on the pole, Logan Rumsey and Tim Smith will make up your front row. That'll be Tyler Shell and Evan C. in row number 2. Ty Showblock. Yep, sorry, Drake, go ahead. That's what I was waiting for.
The inside Ty Showblock, and to his outside will be the 47 of Garrett Pepiat, Ethan Hughes, and Mason Hannigan, row number 4. And then rounding out the top 10 starters tonight, David Allen on the inside of row number 5, and to his outside, Chase Hardy.
Ethan Toder will make up the 11th starting spot. Then it'll be Rylan Gray in 12. Landon Cardoza and Trey Garst in row number 7. Ernie Williams and John Helms make up row number 8.
And then back in row number 7, Landon Cardoza, Trey Garst. Excuse me, looking at the wrong row there. Hayden Harvey back in row number 9, Taylor Wineland. And then rounding out the field, Aiden Forrester and Joe Howe.
Yeah, I probably should have had a little more communication with you there, Drake, on how we're going to do that. Whoops. Oh, well. It's all good.
Yeah, Bert remembers the plan until it's time to execute, but that's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're all having a good time. Just a couple boys being guys here tonight, as always on OSRN. Oh, all right. Time to get serious here, boys. We're going to have a new points leader here probably tonight. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Tyler Shell, Evan C? What about Logan Rumsey? He's not too far out of this point battle yet, but we're going to find out here very, very quickly as the iRacing Silverado pace truck pulls in. It is go time here at the Lernerville Speedway. Let's do it.
Logan Rumsey, just like he did in his heat race, executes that start perfectly, and he's going to jump out to the early lead. Tyler Shell, once again, he is undefeated here at Lernerville, trying to keep that streak alive as Evan C. catfishes around the bottom, but it's going to be Logan Rumsey leading lap number 1.
Top, middle, bottom. You have cars everywhere. We're 3 wide back there. That's Brian Hughes, Ernie Williams as well in the middle of that. Then also, I believe Ty Shellblock's involved in that. And Logan Rumsey, he has an internet issue. He's going to fall off. That's going to give the lead to Evan C. Evan C is going to take this lead. Logan Rumsey has a technical issue. So Evan C, this is playing right into his hands. He missed last week, Drake. He's currently leading right now. With a win, I believe he will take back the points lead.
I think your math might be correct there. Evan C trying to make up for lost time, and just like his heat race, smooth as silk down on the bottom side of the speedway. We're going to go back further here. This is one of the best battles on the racetrack going on. Nice show block in the 6th spot. Mason Hannigan trying to hang on to 5th. The race again for the 5th spot down the backstretch into 3 and 4. Getting a good look as the field as they rumble through 3 and 4. Trey Garst off the racetrack. His night's over.
Trey Garst goes off the racetrack, so he's going to be in the pits there. But I wonder, we still got to go back here. Logan Rumsey had a problem here with his connection. I know there were some storms down in the area all night long, so I wonder if something hit down there. I know the storms have passed, but tough break for Logan Rumsey. But Evan C., he's currently leading right now over Tyler Shell, and he's hitting that bottom, Drake. His first yellow flag of the night is out. Ernie Williams.
Good 8-lap run to start this one.
See what happens.
Looking at Ernie Williams right now in that bright yellow machine. Oh, little meeting of the minds right there. Got on the side of Cardoza. And simple 180 spin down the backstretch for Ernie Williams. Was able to keep it going, but yellow flag is out with 8 laps completed.
Yeah, you said it there, Drake. A very fun 8-lap start to this race here. A lot of juking and jiving there, but it's been a very wild 8 laps nonetheless here, as Evan C. is your current leader, and he kind of came out of nowhere, really. I thought that lead was going to go to Tyler Shell when Logan Rumsey unfortunately disconnected. Okay, Tom is just said lost power, so I figure the storms that came through central Pennsylvania tonight may have affected that as they lost power. So a tough break for Logan Rumsey. So that is why he's out of this race. But they're going to double him up here, Drake. Evan C. and Tyler Schell. Tim Smith with a very nice run so far. Garrett Pepiat, Mason Hannigan, Ty Schoblick, David Allen, or Brian Hughes, John Helms, and Landon Cardoza make up your top 10. So Evan C. has the bottom pretty well run to the profession there. Shell's been kind of committed to the top side. So I feel like C has the advantage here, but the top has gotten better than what we saw in the heat races.
I agree with you there, Bert, but man, Evan C., heard him talk about in his heat race interview, they just have the setup dialed for the bottom side of the racetrack. So see if he can roll that around for another however many laps we got to go. Math is hard. Anyway, back to green. Evan C. jumped out to the early lead.
Math is hard, trust me. I didn't do well in school, but I can tell you right now we have 30 laps to go at the line, and Shell's under all kinds of pressure from Gary Pepiat, Tim Smith, Mason Hannigan, and Ty Schoblock. They are all breathing down his neck here. That's a battle for second, third, fourth, and fifth as we nearly go 3 wide in turn 3 and 4.
Hannigan running the shots line, and he's the meat in the sandwich as they go down the front stretch, and fortunately for him, he bows out of that one as Pepia and Smith come right together. Pepia edges ahead. Hannigan with the run off the top. Now slider down low from Smith. He's going to take that third spot only for a moment. Pepia rockets by. Hannigan picks both their pockets and goes to the third spot off turn 2.
You saw what Mason Hannigan did the last lap in 1 and 2 and wiped around him on the high side as there goes another slide job from Tim Smith. Pepiat's going to turn back around now as we got another 3 wide battle. Oh boy, this is getting fantastic here at Lernerville. We said before, you're going to have 3 lanes of racing. You've got 3 lanes of racing. David Allen's coming for the consolation here. This is back for that 9th spot right now. One car sideways up and over. Tim Smith goes up and over. So last night's winner with the Next Level 360 series goes up and over after that fantastic battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th.
See what happens here. This is the lap before a very spirited battle as we have been showing you here on OSRN. So Smith looks like he's going to get a good run off the top here. Not enough to clear Pepiat, but enough to pull even. Pepiat slides. Oh, and just a bit of a misjudgment. Smith rides a right rear. And unlike the rest of the racetrack coming off of turn number 4, if you go over the edge or ride a right rear like you saw Timothy Smith do, there is no room for error because, boom, is the outside wall, and that will effectively end his run at a podium finish tonight. But now this gives Tyler Schell another opportunity to crack the code here on Evan C. on this restart with 15 laps completed.
Now, I don't know if he can do that again, Drake, because Evans really have a really nice run on the start of these restarts so far. Last restart was a good one for him, and Tyler Schell didn't really have much for him on that last restart. In fact, he lost a lot of ground there between Mason Hannigan, Ethan Toder, and Tim Smith. They were all up there. Not Ethan Toder, I should say. Ethan Toder really making his way up through the field right now. He's running in that 4th spot, so a very nice run for Ethan Toder. +8 so far in the Hard Charger Award as the field gets cycled through here. We're going to go green next time around, but he lost, that was Ernie Williams in that battle as well. So a very spirited battle right now, as right now your Hard Charger will be John Helms +9 right now. He's up from 16th to the 7th spot.
And I mentioned it during one of the consies that Ethan Toder had not been a factor all night long, and here he is showing up again in the feature event. Evan C. again, look at the launch he gets down to turns 1 and 2. He's going to hug the grass if Tyler Schell can blaze around the top side, and no, he cannot contend as Ethan Toder following Evan C. down at the bottom, catfishing around. Toder's going to stay back in that 4th spot as he tries to slip past Hannigan on the inside.
We'll see if Toder can make anything happen on the bottom, but it looks like that top side, they're getting some momentum there, Drake. Maybe you close in on Evan C, but C is the only one really pulling away on the bottom side there. Is Schell. He has Mason Hannigan all over his back bumper, and they're just not able to close in on him. David Allen, he's come up for the consolation here tonight. He's up from 5th until 4th. So we got a 3-car battle shaping up for 2nd so far, making it a 4-car battle here. As you look at the bottom, there is Ethan Toder on the bottom side there, trying to close in on Mason Hannigan, and they're right there with Tyler Schell.
And you know Hannigan does not want to follow the 85 around the top side of this racetrack for 22 more laps. He wants to make something happen. But, man, I do not think anybody has anything for Evan C right now. It's going to take another power outage wherever Evan C is located at this moment to knock him out of the lead. But look at how close these guys are running the edge. Mason Hannigan's on board gives you a great illustration of that as yellow flag comes out. And at Cardoza...
See what happened to Landon here. Goes down. Oh, you wonder if he sent a little bit too hard. Yep, gets into another car there, spins it around, backs it into the wall, and doesn't look like it did any damage to it. So no harm, no foul. But caution flag will fly. Our third caution here with 20 laps to go here at the Lernerville Speedway. You're right, Drake. I don't know if anyone has anything for Evan C right now. He has just been on another level here tonight, running that bottom side. They have that car dialed into perfection. Him and Blake Majulis have really dialed in a very, very good setup for Lernerville, especially on the bottom. You know, we talked about this before and how, you know, the top side, you can get the momentum there, but nobody's been having anything. Everyone else can get the run on the top side and everyone else, but no one's been able to get even close to Evan at all here tonight.
No, I mean, in the heat race, we just watched him drive away from the rest of the field, no problem. And same story can be told here. Up to this point, feature event is he is just catfishing around the bottom, just touching the grass hardly. I mean, he's making it look super easy out there on what looks to be a very tough and technical track to run here at Lernerville. You got the polar opposite. Line chasing him down on the top side with Tyler Schell and Mason Hannigan running second and third. We're on that onboard when the yellow came out, top Mason Hannigan's number one machine, and it really showed you how close those two are putting it to going over the edge of the racetrack here at Lernerville, and that's something that happens quite a lot, so it's impressive to watch those guys hit it lap after lap.
Absolutely. We're going to be halfway this time by as we come down the green. Right now, your hard charger, Joe Howell, makes it up 10 spots from 20th to 10th right now. We got a couple guys going up, plus 11 as well. Hayden Harvey's one of those guys. As Evan C, again, another massive restart. But Mason Hannigan all over the back tail tank of Tyler Schell, again, going back into turns 1 and 2. Hannigan go down low. David Allen, he's in this battle as well. Here with Ethan Toder as well. Hannigan has a run going down the back straightaway into 3 and 4.
Hannigan's going to look to pull the trigger. Slide job from Little Hurricane, and he'll take the lead off a turn, or excuse me, take second off turn 4. Schell right back to the inside. Now these two go to the bottom. Side by side again for the second spot. Down into 3. Another big slider. This one coming from Tyler Schell. Hannigan counter punches down the front stretch, and he'll take the spot back into 1 and clears him by about a car length or 2.
3 wide back there for the third spot between David Allen, Ethan Toder, and Tyler Schell. Toder will take third away from Schell momentarily. Schell should have the momentum, and he will take away from Toder back in the third spot there. But Toder gets a nice run going into 1 and 2. Schell, again, momentum on his side, on the high side. He'll take that away from Toder, who has been running the bottom, but they're all trying to chase down Evan C., who has been pulling away from this field here. We'll see as a yellow flag comes back out again with 15 laps to go. Joe Howe, your hard charger up to this point here, is going to be the reason for the yellow, as we'll take a look and see what the cause was.
He's in that white and black 43. Oh, and somebody just got in the back of him and spins him out, and the 43 slides off the edge of turn number 3 to bring out the yellow.
So Joe Howe will have to make a little bit of work for himself here, as he's going to fall all the way back to the looks like it's going to be the 14th spot, so he's going to lose just a couple spots, but he's still plus 6 from where he started in 20th, so a pretty good run so far for Joe there. Right now, your hard chargers are John Helms plus 9, Hayden Harvey plus 9, and Aiden Forrester plus 9 as well, but everyone is trying to chase down Evan C. I don't know, Drake. It's going to take something wild, I feel like, here, but Mason Hannigan finally got around Tyler Schell there. So we'll see what happens on this restart. I believe we will go double file yet on this restart. I believe it's inside 10 to go. We will go single file as the field looks to be doubling up right now down the back straightaway. So 15 laps to go, Drake. Unless we get some lap traffic here, which 15 laps, it's not that much time. I don't know if we'll see lap traffic again.
I think this race, if anybody's going to get by Evan C., this race will be decided on a restart. Maybe a short run, like 2 to 3 laps to the checkered flag. But if you're going to see a pass for the lead, it's going to be right here. Now, we know Hannigan and Tyler Schell going to race Evan C. with a bunch of respect at the front of this field. So, feel like top's too long around. Get by Evan C. straight up. Feel like you may have to nudge him up off the bottom to get the lead here, but we'll see. Like I said, it's going to be a respectful race between these three. These guys have a lot of respect for each other as they come down to the green flag.
So you say that Tyler Schell gets a little bit into Ethan Toterer, and C again pulls away another great restart. As long as it keeps getting these restarts, it almost seals him the race, it feels like. But Mason Hannigan, not let him go away as Schell has in the opening laps here. As Hannigan, he'll go down low, try and follow Evan C. Here comes Schell again, trying to get some momentum down into turns 3 and 4. Look back at David Allen, but Schell is closing on Hannigan. Maybe a little bit of nudge there off of turn number 4.
Yeah, and they actually are closing in on Evan C. C has slowed his pace down the bottom. Hannigan may have a run down the backstretch. Nope, still trailing by about 4 or 5 car lengths in at 3. But off at 4 last time, Hannigan got a really good run. Can he do it again? Oh, he's closing down the front straightaway. Does the little hurricane have anything for Evan C?
Oh, he might hear it down the back straightaway. That's the closest anyone's been. He's got to know he's there. He's up on the high side. Mason Hannigan on the high side. He's going to not take the lead just yet. Oh, barely holds on to it. Evan C holds on to it, but this time down the back straightaway. C seems to be better off at turns 1 and 2, but Mason Hannigan, he's going to have been better off at 3 and 4 the last couple laps. He might have the lead this time by. No, Evan C holds on to it.
And it seems like Hannigan's better off of 4, just can't get a big enough run to clear Evan C, or at least take the lead away from him at the line. Hannigan searching for his first win since the season finale of last year, again at the stripe. Evan C's got the lead, but Hannigan seems to be quicker, or at least about the same speed as they come onto the back straightaway.
It seems like Evan C's coming off the corner a little bit faster, but this time by no. Still does not have it, but you're right, Drake. He's still right there off of 3 and 4. It's got to be frustrating Mason Hannigan just a little bit, but you see it again. Evan C has a great run off of the corners here, and Mason Hannigan's allowed to reel him in a little bit this time by no. 7/10 of a second separating there, as we're going to have 5 laps to go next time by.
Hannigan got around the top side really good there, almost pulled alongside C. There they go once again down to 3 and 4. This is where Hannigan's been a little bit better, and at the stripe, he takes the lead.
Mason Hannigan takes the lead. 5 laps to go at the line. Hannigan going to pull away, but C's going to take the lead back on down the back straightaway. Again, we'll see if the little hurricane can't get a run off of turn number 4. He will do so. He's holding on to that lead there. It looks like he's better off of 4 now, Drake, with 4 laps to go.
Bring Tyler Schell into the mix. He peeks to the outside of Evan C down the backstretch. Tyler Schell is right there trying to keep his winning streak at Lernerville alive, as now he'll clear for second.
Oh, please stay green, in the words of James Essex. Now, it looks like C missed the line a little bit. Schell gets around him for second. Mason Hannigan still leading. Schell trying to close in on Hannigan. We're going to have twin 6 out. 2 to go at the line.
Tyler Schell has closed in, and he's closing in a hurry. Does he make his move here? Off the turn, Hannigan has the lead, but it's not by a lot, about a half a car length as they turn for the white flag here at Lernerville.
White flag is out, 1 lap to go. Mason Hannigan leads. Tyler Schell's all over his back tail tank. Hannigan takes the defensive line away from Schell. Schell's going to go down the bottom, losing a lot of momentum. Into turns 3 and 4. Where does Schell go? He's going to go down low with Mason Hannigan. Hannigan slips up at the line. It's going to be Mason Hannigan wins at Lernerville.
Mason Hannigan wins an absolute thriller. Tyler Schell, runner-up. His reign of terror comes to an end, and Evan C., who looked like was a dominant car, falls to the bottom step of the podium.
Wow, what we knew we were in for a great race at Lernerville. We knew these guys could do it. What a fantastic race here tonight at the Lernerville Speedway. As you take a look at Mason Hannigan, he's going to pull some victory donuts in turns 3 and 4 there. Gets around. He is definitely excited. Up and over he goes. A little bit of Tommy tip over in celebration. Oh, it's only money. They make new wings every day. I'll be saved it. What a fantastic race here at Lernerville. Wow. Just what else can you say, Drake? Just wow, wow, wow. As he's getting out of the car, he can hear you, ladies and gentlemen, the little hurricane. Mason Hannigan, your winner here at Lernerville. He is down there with Drake York.
Mason Hannigan wins an absolute thriller here at Lernerville. Mason, what did you have to do to really catch up to C first off, and then we'll talk about how you got by him later, but what did you have to change up to eventually get to the 33?
Ran my ass off is what I did there. I don't think I've ever ran the top this hard, or at least had the balls to do it. And I'm pretty pumped up about this one, especially beating Tyler and Evan. Them boys are fast, and they are not slow. And I knew Evan was going to be fast, and I think if the bottom one never went away, he'd have definitely won it for sure. But I knew I wanted it a lot. I wanted it a lot more than anybody else there, because I felt like I had the speed. And I saw Tyler dipping down through the middle on the 1 and 2, and I didn't know where, because I have 3 screens and I could see my 3rd screen on the left there, and I didn't know if my best option was to run the top of 1 and 2 and let him slide me, or if he'd run the middle there. And I think either option was a good option, honestly. And so I just went down. I had to protect it down there in 1, and then obviously you got to protect the deep slider down there in 3 and 4, or else it's probably going to stick. And I've had enough experience here. I don't know if Tyler went to the top or not and dime it off, but I knew I had to block it down there in 3 and 4. That's for sure. And this is a hell of a win.
Take me through those few laps right there where you were either right next to C or maybe would edge him out here and there. How frustrating is that to be racing with a guy as good as Evan like that and not be able to get past? And then what's the feeling of relief like once you actually come under the checkered flag after an insane battle like that?
Yeah, obviously it's great and all. And, I like to run these guys with a lot of respect, and I don't like to dirty them up. It's just not how I like to race. And Evan and Tyler do a good job of that too, and great respect for both of them for sure. And honestly, Evan was probably the fastest there, the first 35, and then I don't know if the bottom went away or if his car just went away, but he'd kill me and Tyler out of 2. I don't know what was happening there when Tyler got behind me. I couldn't see him out of my left screen, and I couldn't really tell where he was at, but I could tell where Tyler was at. And for the beginning of the race, Evan was really fast on the bottom, and I don't know, if it was 30 laps, he definitely would have won it, but 35 probably would have won it, and thankfully, he got 5 extra laps and make it 40, so, I don't know, they were both really fast, and I had to drive my ass off for that one, that's for sure.
This little Hurricane, Mason Hannigan, gets his first win since Charlotte of last season. He is your winner here tonight at the Lernerville Speedway. Up Tyler Shell, and Tyler, your reign of terror at Lernerville unfortunately ends tonight, but man, you seem to come out of nowhere in the final set of laps of that race and make the thing interesting. Did you need to get by Hannigan because you looked high, you looked low, and get anything to stick on the one?
The biggest thing was just more time. I also kind of was playing for points the first 30 laps of the race. I've had, like you guys know, I've had a rough start to the season, so it kind of wasn't driving the car very hard. And then with about 8 to go, I realized, well, maybe I have a shot, so I kind of pushed it over the edge and was able to close in a bunch, just ran out of time. But I'll take the good points tonight with Aiden's misfortune and gain a couple points over Evan.
But you'd like to thank for getting you on the podium?
Yep, just like to thank everybody that puts this league on, and then you and Bert for broadcasting, and then I was up Sim Sport, and then Northern Tires, Just Logistics, Paints by Tunigan, and Hergut Real Estate.
Well, even though he lost that ultimate win streak here tonight at Lernerville, Tyler Shell's worst finish here is second with the Apex Series. Absolutely unbelievable. We'll now bring up Evan C., who looked like he was going to be the car to beat. In fact, was the car to beat throughout most of that race. Evan, bottom just kind of start to go away on you there towards the end of the race?
Oh, yeah. I kind of figured it would start to go away, 40-lap race and not, doing any track reset or anything. I was going to set up for the top and just, run the top because I figured bottom go away pretty fast. And I figured I probably had a good chance of falling off the track if I did that. So about 15 seconds left to grid, I decided I'm just going to, run the bottom and, see what happens. And, it was really fast in the beginning and for 30 laps there. And just the last 10, it started to get pretty thin. And 1 and 2 is still pretty good, but 3 and 4, it was, definitely getting hard to hit and, having to get over that little hump on the exit out of 4 was getting tough, but we still had a good solid finish tonight, and definitely needed that.
Anybody like to thank for getting you on the podium?
Yeah, just gotta thank everybody at Team VLR, CFME Sports, Magility Speed Shop, Tattoo Defense, Total Desire Frenchies, WR1 Sim Chassis, iRacing Not Flag, just everybody else helps us out, and thank our guys for broadcasting for us, and Josh, everybody helps put on the series for us.
That's Evan C., your third place driver here tonight at the Lernerville Speedway, and an absolute barn burner, Bert. Fantastic stuff start to finish.
Hey, absolutely, Drake. A fantastic race throughout this entire night here. We saw here Shell, really a very fun run, but Mason Hannigan absolutely dominated this high side. I had a feeling it was going to be a top dominant race there, but Evan C. just surprised the hell out of me with how well the bottom was, but it seemed like he used everything up on the bottom and just not enough down there yet, and Hannigan and Shell with a hell of a finish to kind of make up for that. But in my quick math here, doing the points, just on top of my head now, this is unofficial right now. Evan C. will be second in the points right now with the points he accumulated tonight with 272, and that will keep Aiden Berline in the lead by 4 points if my math is correct right now. But right now with 272, Mason Aiden Berline will hold in. Tyler Shell will move up into. Mason Hannigan will move into the third spot then, and then Tyler Shell into the 4th spot. So very, very, now there's a quick math here on points here, but it's kind of something you got to look into going down the road here, because there's not much left to go here, Drake, as we only have, I believe, what do we have here? 6 races left to go this year, and next week we go back to where Mason Hannigan picked up his last win at the end of season 4. We go back to the dirt track at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Yeah, absolutely. And if your math is correct, but we did mention math is hard, so I trust you, Bert. I trust you enough, and man, what a saving grace tonight for Aiden Berline. But man, it is gonna be tight to say the least, kind of like how it was heading into last week's race at Indiana's Baddest Bull Ring Kokomo Speedway.
Yeah, you're right. But also, you got to think about this too, Drake, is that, we even look back at season 4, how tight that was towards the end between Alex Bergeron and Tyler Shell. Well, now we have more cars involved in this, it feels like. Season 5 is wide open. There is no guaranteed winner here at all here. Somebody's not walking away with this points championship right now, and it's going to be very interesting. And Charlotte was very interesting back in December when we ran there with season at the end of season 4, or January I should say, at the end of season 4. So I think next week's going to be a very interesting weekend. I think we might start to separate a little bit here, but also you can't count out Logan Rumsey probably had a chance at a top 5 here tonight. That's going to hurt him in points. I'm not sure what they're going to do with him with the power going out at his place. If they're going to give him a couple extra points or whatever, I don't know what's going to happen there. But still, it's just a wild night here at the Lernerville Speedway. I wouldn't have it any way, my friend.
Exactly. You hit the nail on the head there, Bert. This was fantastic, and that's honestly my type of racetrack. I love to see a guy slow roll in the bottom and being fast, while also there's a guy just blazing the top. As Mason Hannigan said, and I'm going to paraphrase here, I had the guts to go up there and run the top harder than I ever ran before, and that's a perfect racetrack. Like when Gas City gets that way with the non-wing sprint cars, absolutely perfect in my opinion, because you got the guy that people don't give guys that run the bottom enough credit, because it does take a very different skill set to run the bottom, and sure, it's not as flashy and entertaining as running the top. It takes talent nonetheless, and C ran the bottom perfectly for most of that race, and you heard him talk about it in his interview. It just kind of went away on him there. So again, perfect racetrack tonight. I was a little concerned seeing how slick the top was at the start of the race, and especially throughout when Evan C was driving away. But man, this turned out to be a fantastic race. I mean, you could just see that. You don't have to be an expert to know that was an amazing race here that we just saw between those 3 drivers on the podium.
You nailed it, Drake. You absolutely nailed it. So, folks, that's going to do it for us here on OSRN with another night of the Apex Auto Glass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championship. Once again, I want to thank all of our great sponsors here, along with Apex Auto Glass and Tinting. We also have Jake Swanson Shock Technologies. Go check them out. EPI, Elite Performance Industries, check them out for great iRacing setups as well. And just everyone, also Redline Race Designs as well, helping us out here on the Apex Auto Glass and Tin, as well as the Next Level 360 series. So next week's schedule looks like this. We're going to be at the Weedsport Speedway for the podcast photography, JSC Shock Technology Midgets. Come up here next Tuesday night up at the Weedsport Speedway up in Weedsport, New York. And then next week, as we said, both the Next Level 360s and the Apex Auto Glass and Tin 410 Sprint Car Championship will be at the Lernerville, or at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the dirt track at Charlotte, coming up next Wednesday and Thursday night. And we hope you all can join us here then. But until then, we will see you all next week then. So for our great producer, Joe White, for the great Drake York, have fun at Lawrenceburg this week, bud. I know we'll see you on Flow. Galling race or doing pit reporting with Chet Krishner. Can't wait for that. Have fun down Lawrenceburg, bud.
Yeah, Lawrenceburg's great. It's one of the places that I look forward to the most. It's one of the nicest facilities you'll ever get to go to in sprint car racing. You get the chance, definitely go to Lawrenceburg. I mean, it's one of my favorite racetracks to race fan at. Like, usually hit the Outlaw show because it's on a Monday, and I'm actually home on Mondays, which is nice. But yeah, it's the Outlaw race there is great. All the USAC races. I always say Lawrenceburg Midget Week is one of my favorite days of the year. So you can imagine I'm pumped to see sprint cars not only back in the Midwest, but back at Lawrenceburg.
Oh, I love the high banks of the Berg. So have fun there, Drake. And, of course, everyone here at OSRN. Wish you a great weekend. My name's Bert Wojcik, folks. We'll see you all next week from the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Take care, folks. Enjoy the races.